This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Posing models is extremely hard, and the wrong pose can make your photos look awkward and unappealing. So I'm going to show you 6 common mistakes, how to correct them, and what to do instead to make your photos better. The first mistake is making your set a tense place. It can be really stressful to be setting up your lights and your cameras and everything, but if you're in a bad mood or you're not being friendly, you can set your model in a state of unease, especially if they're not experienced. So make sure that you've got on some music, that you're putting in a light energy, that you're making some conversations, that everyone can be relaxed, and then prepare to probably get your best shots towards the end of the photo shoot when they're their most relaxed. The next mistake people make is correcting instead of encouraging. So if I say, Kayla, will you pose for me? And then I say, no, not like that. That didn't look good. That's gonna make your model super uncomfortable. You have to remember it's a collaboration. Every time they pose, they're bringing an idea to the photo shoot. So instead of saying, no, something doesn't look good, just keep shooting and move past it. You don't have to focus on the negative. Wait till they do something good, be encouraging. Kayla's a really good model, so I would never have to tell her something looks bad. You're lucky like that, Kayla. So strike a pose for me. Yes, that looks beautiful. Okay, can you put one hand up by your face? Yep, in your hair. Gorgeous. Yes, just like that. And lower your chin a little bit. Perfect. That looks gorgeous. The next mistake I see all the time is too much stillness. And so sometimes when a model doesn't know what to do, especially a person that's not actually a model, they'll just stand completely still. Or you will ask them to pose, you'll say, raise your hand and put it in your hair, and they'll do this, and everything else will look still. And if you're finding that your subject isn't taking direction in a way where it's creating movement, give them more dynamic tips. So instead of saying, just raise your hand, you can say, brush your hands through your hair. You can say, put your hand on your leg and then bring it up to your waist. And then instead of getting these stiff poses, you're creating movement. So let me show you with Kayla. Okay, Kayla, so turn away from me and then turn back and look at me. Good. Again. Can you do it again? That looks great. And can you do it a little more slowly? That's excellent. And then can you put your hand on your thigh like you have it and then just move it up towards your waist? Great. And do it again, but a little more slowly. Good. That looks great. And you can see by giving natural directions and movements, people suddenly remember how to move their body again. So if you're doing a family shoot or a senior portrait or something where someone is not a model, they might feel awkward. Give them a little task. Tell them, walk towards me and then look over by that tree, or take a step back from me and a step forward. And by introducing movement, they're gonna naturally loosen up their body. When people are tense, they also hold a lot of tension in their neck and shoulders. So it's okay to ask them to move their shoulders. And in fact, it's gonna help the pose look more natural. So let's try that, Kayla. I'm gonna have you kind of go like this and move your shoulders around a little bit. Good. Nice. That's gorgeous. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you're taking portraits and you want to show your clients your best photos, you need a professional website to make that happen. Now, Squarespace, they can do everything for your photo business. You can have contracts there, you can have galleries to share your photos with your clients, and you can even have them take payments there. It's a one-stop shop for any kind of business, but it's especially great for photography. You can even sell your prints there. If you want to try it out, you can get it for free for 14 days. No credit card needed, you don't have to remember to cancel. And when you like it, if you go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea, you can get 10% off. And that saves you 10%, and it also lets Squarespace know you're learning about them from me. So use that Chelsea coupon code, CHELSEA. Let's get into one of the most important mistakes people make. And I'm gonna call that square body. And that's when everything is lined up. You've got your shoulders straight on, your hips are straight. You look like you're doing that like lineup in a police station. It's unappealing, it's confrontational, and you need to introduce angles into the body. That's how you're going to solve that problem. So Kayla, this is gonna be hard for you, but I'm gonna have you start with the mugshot photo type thing and try to just be totally square. It's depressing. Oh, you can't even do it. She's such a good model. She's trying to create angles. And that's what you're supposed to do, is create angles with the body. So instead of being straight on, you're going to turn the shoulders a little bit. You've created an angle. You can put one foot in front of the other and you're creating an angle. And you want to give the body some dimension and some shape that's naturally appealing. So the first angle we're going to break, instead of being straight on, Kayla, I'm going to have you tilt your shoulders. Yep, and now you're not square, and you've already moved one of your arms so that they're not the same. Good. Nice. And then see, she's already twisted her hips and put one foot in front. So put one foot in front of the other and shift your weight to the back. And now we've created some angles with the hips, and that looks good. The next mistake, now that we're in this more complicated area of posing, the next mistake is accentuating the wrong body part. And that can happen when you start working on these angles and you're not really paying attention to what you're drawing attention to with your composition. So I'll give you some examples. Sometimes you can have someone kick their hip out and they put it towards the camera. And if they're a hippie person and maybe they don't want to have big hips, because it's closer to the camera, it's going to make their hips look larger. So let's do that, Kayla. And you can see that. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Big hips are not a problem. So if someone wants to have a hippier look, they want to stick out their butt and put it towards the camera, that's going to give you that big booty look and you can accentuate it. It's not wrong per se, you just want to be mindful. So now I'll show you, I'm going to have you put your hips away from the camera and then it's going to make them look smaller. Another thing you want to consider when you're doing these angles, I'm shooting with a 24-70 and I'm kind of wide, closer to the 24mm area. When you're shooting wide, it really exaggerates the size of everything coming towards the camera. I'll show you what I mean. Kayla, I'm going to have you like put your hand out towards me. And hold on. So that's an extreme example, but now it looks like she has a big hand because it's closer. So we'll do something similar. I'm going to have you put your hand in your hair and put your elbow at me. So you're just a good model. It's hard to get this one. Yes, yes. You're right, it's wrong. This is an example of something bad. Now her elbow is the most prominent thing in the photo, and it makes it look like she doesn't have an arm. It's just kind of getting lost. So when you look at your poses and the angles you're creating, make sure you're accentuating the right thing. So let me show you a few good examples of how to do this. One of them, I'm going to make your legs look longer and you look taller. I'm going to shoot wider, closer to 24 at about 35. I'm going to have her stretch her foot out towards the camera, and then it's going to give you this long leg line and make her look taller. And I'm also going to get lower down to the ground to make her look taller. If I get down lower, put your foot out towards me, strike that pose. She looks taller. So now you can see you're posing every part of the body. She's got her leg out. You don't want your arms up against your body. Create separation. You don't want them square. Make different angles. Have them put it over their head. And now you're not just doing all the square stuff we were talking about, where you're creating dynamic shapes. Think about if you were to draw your subject as a stick figure. Would you want your stick figure to be like this? Or do you want poses that are beautiful shapes if you just reduce them to their most simple form? So Kayla, let's make some beautiful shapes like this one. Gorgeous. And one more tip that I didn't add, but I'm remembering, do not crop at joints. That means elbows, wrists, knees. You want to keep it at like the thigh and make sure your hands aren't cut off and things like that. There are so many more tips, but those are just a few of the mistakes that I've seen. If you want to see more videos like this, check out my YouTube channel. And thanks Squarespace for making this video possible. If you want your own Squarespace website where you can show off your pictures, get clients, take payments, go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. Thanks.